to move the mosque. We have agreed to cancel our event on Saturday.
As one journalist described him, sad sack Florida pastor Terry Jones there on his own, maybe, stunt to burn the Koran. And then there is this political cartoon that has been getting some attention. It says 19 Muslim terrorists kill 3,000 Americans. And the response from the man in the turban, you can't judge all Muslims by the actions of a few extremists. And then one preacher threatens to burn the Quran. That brings calls for death to America. Do they have a point, Alan Colmes?
I don't know that people are calling for death to America, but again, isn't it true that when General Petraeus speaks out and says it's going to endanger our troops, that's really what the key issue is.
That's right.
If we were to burn the Bible, if we would actually have a bunch of Muslims or one Muslim somewhere doing a Bible burning, I bet you would have a very similar reaction from Christians who would be equally offended, and who knows what kind of death threats might come to that Muslim.
Has the media, I mean, this small-time preacher, Judy, has gotten so much attention. Has the media been played by all of his, yes, I'm going to do it, no, I'm not?
I agree with Alan. Once you have David Petraeus saying this is a threat to our troops, how can the media ignore this story?
Well, they were paying close attention before that.
They were, because of the highly charged environment in which we find ourselves. We have a trifecta. We have the 9/11 commemoration, we have the beginning of the Jewish holiday, and we have the end of Ramadan's, the month of fasting. This is guaranteed to build up, put everybody on edge.
Look, this guy was a media creation. 2 years ago, this clown Fred Phelps, who pickets the funerals of dead soldiers with signs that say God hates fags, did exactly the same thing in 2008. He got zero coverage. This guy in Florida was a media creation. As Judy says, it was a perfect storm, a trifecta, but they had to cover it. And I was glad to see that Fox put out a statement that said that if he went ahead with it, they weren't going to cover it. I think that's good journalistic principles.
Let me get to that, because according to the media coverage website TV Newser, ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN all had plans to cover it if this thing were to go on, and we still don't absolutely know that it's on hold permanently. Fox News was not going to do so. Senior Vice President Michael Clementi of this network said if we tried to cover everyone who wants us to stick a camera in front of them, we'd run out of cameras pretty fast each day, but this is really about just using some judgment. I mean, shouldn't everybody just ignore this guy?
Yes, I mean, they should. And I guarantee you somebody's going to get the idea, whatever Jones does, somebody's going to do this, maybe the Westboro people, something like that, and the media should ignore that. That's actually the old tradition of journalism, which is not to just chase eyeballs and Nielsen ratings, but to actually think about what all the news is fit to print, as one newspaper that later sold itself out used to say.
Hey, look, they brought the so-called pastor, I like the word so-called.
Exactly right.
On MSNBC the other day on the Scarborough show, and I think John Meacham made a statement to him, and then they let him go. We didn't ask him any questions. We just wanted you to hear that. They didn't even interview the guy.
Yeah, amazing. So, Shyster, Reverend in name only. Let's see. How many others are out there like that? And we put them on the air all the time.
But again, they didn't let him respond. So I mean, was that journalistically a good move? Because they just wanted him to hear what they had to say, but they didn't want to hear what he had to say, because we pretty much know what he's saying.
Of course it's not good to let him rant, but there have been really eloquent responses to him. The mayor of New York, Mike Bloomberg, who many people did not like the position he took on the mosque near Ground Zero, or the community center. Exactly, 2 blocks away from Ground Zero, but he was absolutely consistent about this. This man has the right to do whatever he wants to do constitutionally, but is it wise? And I think that's the question we have to ask all the time.
Mike Thomas from the Orlando Sentinel had an interesting take. He wrote, the media attention to Jones was like 3 strawberries coming into alignment on $1 million slot machine. And then he asks, if a sad little man burns some Qurans in the woods and the media aren't there to record it, is it news? I mean, if we don't watch this guy, does he just go away?
I don't know if he goes. Maybe he'll burn something else. I don't know. But it is a genuine news story, especially, as you point out, when General Petraeus comments and the White House gets involved and he gets calls from Washington. It has become a genuine news story.
Al Jazeera will be there no matter what the rest of the American
And it'll be on YouTube.
All
right. Everybody's going to see it.
Exactly.